All right, so the West Indies cricket team have finally decided what they will be doing to show support for the Black Lives Matter movement while on their tour of England. On this day. Yeah, man, so it was just a couple of weeks ago that we heard Captain Jason Holder in an interview saying that they were actually trying to brainstorm to come up with ideas of what they could do to show solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement as they are preparing to go up against the English. No, this is actually a very good news because I am most definitely certain that fans would be, would have been waiting and anticipating to see what exactly the management team and the captain would come up with to show as a black team that we are in solidarity or we are in support of what is happening. Now, based on information coming out, it is said that the team will be wearing a Black Lives Matter patch on their shirt as they go throughout the series. This is something good because as a team that is dominantly black, I was just hoping that something would be done to show that we are in support of what is happening all over the world. It is something that is very sensitive, but at the same time, we need to show our support and show that this is something that is very important that needs to be addressed. Now, as a black Caribbean team going up against a team that is predominantly white, it is a very good time for us to silently show that we are in agreement with what is going on. I mean, we won't be protesting and causing a hullabaloo, but at the same time, our patch will be there for the world to see that we are in support of what is happening. Yeah, man, I am expecting some fireworks in this series because it is not the case where any of the English players would have been accused of, being racist. But at the same time, we have a dominant black team going up against a team that is predominantly white. So this should be a lot of fun. I mean, it is sad that something like this is happening in the world right now, but as a race, we need to show that we are in support of what is happening and we need to get to the end of this. With this team now going over there to play against the England guys, you know, this brings me back to back in South Africa when the apartheid was going on. Because I mean, back in those days, no matter how talented the cricketer was, once he wasn't white, that cricketer wasn't allowed to represent the country. Same thing, football, any form of sport. Once that person wasn't white in the apartheid time, they weren't allowed to represent the country, South Africa. No, it is something that, as I said earlier, it is very sensitive, but we have to talk about it. Now, in the same time when apartheid was going on, I mean, black men couldn't get married to black women and all of that sort of politics thing. But it mostly affected the guys that were earning a living from sport. I remember, well, not remember because I wasn't around in that time, but based on videos that I have watched and things that I have read, a lot of the West Indies players, top players back then, would have come under some heavy sticking because they would have left and would have gone over to South Africa to participate in a series that was going on there. Now, at this time, it was forbidden because the ICC had placed a ban on South Africa as it relates to participating in international cricket because of the whole politics thing that was going on. Black people couldn't play cricket. So all those top black South African cricketers that are there now, we're talking about Rabada, we're talking about Mackay and Ntini have to pass. Those players wouldn't be allowed to play for South Africa no matter how good they were back then. So it is very good to see that, at least we are now seeing a movement that is growing and, we are working towards getting everybody being under one umbrella per se. Now, a lot of West Indies supporters I know are looking and would have been wondering if the players were really going to go and take part in this series based on what is going on all over the world right now. But as I had said earlier, You know, a lot of persons are just, this is the way that they make a living. So once they are able to go and the environment is safe, then we can fight them. Back to an earlier thing that I was talking about as it relates to apartheid back in South Africa. A lot of the top West Indies cricketers would have been would have been thrown out of the team because they would have gone over to South Africa and participate in a series while South Africa was serving a ban from the ICC. So, you know, I am certain that there's going to be some amount of tension as it will be seen like blacks going up against white during this series. It's a bit sad to know that this thing is coming in to take over sports, but that is what is happening now. So we just have to live with it based on what is going on. Right now we don't want it to go back to the place where white is going up against white, black, and black is going up against white, because that is exactly what happened in the, I think it was between 1982 to somewhere about in the 1990s, I think it was, that when some of our cricketers decided that, here what, we're not going to take part in this series because what is happening over there is unjust. Back then, you know, a lot of persons would be coming from poor backgrounds, so they would have seen it as fit as a way to go and get some money for themselves and their families. But I must say, kudos, hats off to the players that would have decided that, here what is happening over there in South Africa is not right. Apartheid, all of that is going on, so we're not going to be a part of this cricketing series. So that is very good. I mean, a lot of the players that went, they would have gotten a lot of money, but at the same time, they were like outcasts when they returned to the Caribbean. A lot of them were then axed from the West Indies cricket team. You know, persons were not allowed to be around the dressing room. And we're talking about world class cricketers. I mean, some of them they weren't accepted back with open arms, but they eventually worked themselves back into the squad. But a lot of them just fell off after that. So sometimes, even though we are all involved and caught up in this sports thing, there are some amount of underlying issues that we have to look at sometimes. Because with this whole political, and the whole thing was politicized at the same time back in apartheid in South Africa. Because Nelson Mandela, I think it was in the same time that he was jailed. You know, a whole lot of nonsense was going on back then just because of race. As I said, no matter what talented you were, you weren't allowed to be a part of the team. You weren't, black weren't allowed to marry white, white weren't allowed to marry black. Whole lot of foolishness. So as we look to move forward as a people, I am hoping that this series that we go up against England, everything will work out well. I am hoping that based on what is happening right now with the movement, I am hoping it won't affect the game in such a way that personalities will clash. As in, we are black going up against white, therefore it is an all-out war. We're hoping that at the end of the day, cricket will win. Even though we are going through this movement, we want cricket to be on the winning side at the end of the day. Mind you, West Indies winning, but at the same time, we don't want it to be the case where temper is always up there because of what is going on right now. So, yeah, man, it's very important, very sensitive issue, very sensitive topic, but we have to talk about it because it's happening now and it's affecting us. You know, and we don't want it to be where people start boycott certain country because of what is going on. So that is what is happening now. West Indies will be wearing a patch showing solidarity for the Black Lives Matter movement, showing support. So I am thinking that, yeah, man, the based on the interview that I heard, the English players will also be doing something to show that they are in solidarity or in support of the movement, because with what is going on now, to see West Indies cricket team go over there and showing solidarity, showing support, and then a dominant white team is not showing support, that would look away still. So I am thinking that, yeah, man, the English guys are going to come up with finalize something that they are going to do to show support of the movement. So yeah, man, that's what's happening now. Sports to the bone, keeping you informed. Remember to like, share, leave us a comment. If you have not yet subscribed, remember to subscribe to my channel. Sports to the bone, keeping you informed. Yeah, man, out.